Okay, so we got the Terex 844 here. Gonna kind of walk around it, show you the ins and the outs. Here's where the auxiliary hydraulics hook up. It's right here and here. In order to use the auxiliaries, this lever needs to be in the down position. Okay, if the lever is 90 degrees to this, what's going to happen is you're going to unlatch your attachment instead of running your auxiliary hydraulics, and then the attachment will fall off and it'll rip these hoses off and we'll have a bad day. So make sure that this lever, every time before you use it, that this lever is down. Okay, this was our old auxiliaries. We don't use these anymore. We use these ones now. Kind of walking around the plow. A big thing with this plow is we want to keep the weight off of the wing cutting edges and on the main cutting edge. So you don't want it tilted. You don't want to tilt it down too far. You want to tilt it down just enough so that these wings are making contact with the ground, but most of the weight is on the main cutting edge. So every time before you get in it, you want to walk around, look at everything, make sure we don't have any obvious leaks. Make sure that we don't have puddles of oil underneath anything. You know, we look under the machine, we look at all four tires, make sure that they're filled up. We check the oil back here. Right, it's an oil-cooled engine. We just want to be in the hash marks on the dipstick. So there's no coolant to worry about. We just check the oil every time before we use it. Then move it up into the cab. Close the door. Pull on that latch right there. Move it up into the cab. Keys over here. Turn the key on. Don't start the engine. Give it a few seconds for the glow plugs. There's no light for the glow plugs, so just wait a few seconds. She starts right up. Usually not an issue at all with starting it up. And then down here is our fan control. Right, usually leave that up all the way. If for some reason the auxiliary hydraulics aren't working, it's probably because this switch got bumped. If it's pushed in that direction, the auxiliaries won't work. It's got to be in the center. It's got to be in the center for the auxiliaries to work. We got forward and reverse. And then on the front of this joystick, here's our auxiliary hydraulics. And this is also how you lock and unlock attachments if you turn that valve on the front of the machine there. But for snow plowing purposes, this is just for auxiliary hydraulics. Windshield wiper controls down here. Lights are right here. That's how you'd switch into turtle mode. But we just leave it in rabbit. You're gonna think you're in turtle mode all the time anyways, so just leave it in rabbit. And then if it ever doesn't want to move, here is the emergency brake. It won't go forward or backwards unless that's all the way down. Okay, so triple check that that's down. You're having an issue with it going into gear. Okay, standard loader controls. Up, you know, here's your tilt. Then as far as how this plow works, this Snow Wolf Quattro plow. So if you tilt it to the left and hold it for a few seconds after it tilts, then your wings fold back. If you tilt it to the right and hold it for a few seconds, your wings go forward. With these, whenever you're running the auxiliaries, you do want to give it a little bit of extra throttle. You don't need a bunch, but just a little bit extra, or the machine does kind of want to stall out. You don't give it a little bit of throttle. So the fuel gauge in here does not work. If we're ever operating for more than 8 hours, we need to fill the machine up. That's our fuel gauge, right? It'll run a solid 8 hours on a tank of fuel. It'll go a little bit more than that, but we're going to fill it up before we hit 8 hours. And then every single time that we bring it back to the shop, we have to fill it up so that we always know that we're starting on a full tank. Okay? And beyond that, the only other thing is this is our auxiliary heater. Right behind the seat here, there's a switch. Turns that heater on and off. If you need a little bit of extra heat, that's your answer. If you ever need to put oil in the machine, it's 540 diesel engine oil. And then here's a strobe light. Just leave it plugged in. That turns it off and on. This changes your pattern, but you can just leave it where it's at as long as the strobe's working. That's all that matters. So that is the Terex 844 in a nutshell. Oh, and then as far as fuel, we always want to run either a 50-50 blend of diesel, a winter blend of diesel, and if you can't find either of those two, then we want to put number 1 diesel in. Okay, we don't want to put number 2 diesel in, straight number 2 in the winter ever. So that's about it.